Hello and welcome to the 28th episode of the 34 Sports Podcast. I'm joined once again with Randy. How you doing today?
Hey everyone. I'm well.
It was an interesting week to say the least. I mean, there was just from Kay getting drafted to Detroit, which was pretty much a guarantee, but it's still nice to see it happen. And just free agency's been crazy. The Lakers have surprised me with the amount of players they've been able to sign with basically around 20 million in cap room, pretty much.
Still isn't enough though.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They're interesting pickups to say the least. I won't say whether they're good or bad yet, but it just is kind of baffling on some of their pickups.
Yeah, I
But
didn't see what was the. So we're gonna hop into the draft first or free agency?
we can just go right into the Lakers, I guess, since we're right here. But the Lakers pickups have been, I think, for me, probably their two biggest is probably Wayne Ellington, who's a really good shooter. I watched him in Detroit for a while here. And Kendrick Nunn, who came out of Oakland University. I actually have his Heat jersey, the alternate that everybody likes to look at, the Vice, whatever it was that year. But I have his Vice jersey. He's really good. He's underrated, and they got him on a pretty cheap deal. Probably another thing for them is getting rid of Drummond, but the pick, I mean, for me, the biggest, I think, waste of money for them, which I mean is a veteran minimum, but Trevor Ariza hasn't been good for like 2 years. I didn't get that pickup.
Oh, they picked Trevor Ariza up too. I saw. Did they get Malik Monk as well?
Yeah, Malik Monk's all right. We'll see what he does on a different team. Yeah, he shoots 40%. I could
Yeah.
see that one. He's
Oh yeah,
had
Trevor Ariza.
flashes. He's been inconsistent at times.
Holy cow!
A lot of the
Sorry.
guys they picked up have been inconsistent at times. But I mean, sometimes it works out on a different team. I
They picked
mean,
up Wayne Ellington too. There's a spot up shooter
yeah,
for LeBron
Wayne
James.
Ellington's probably the best pickup I saw that they
Yeah, I
did.
like it. It's a
It's a
good
good
move.
fit.
Yeah, it's a good move.
But and then
It's
they picked up Carmelo too.
yeah, that'll be a shooter that Brown kick out too. But actually, you know what what would you say is the worst move the Lakers made in this Milwaukee
Trevor
offseason?
Ariza, I don't think he's very useful at his age. He was very good like 4 or 5 years ago, but now it's like I think that's their Jared Dudley pickup for the year because it's the same type of he won't get very many minutes, but he could play if they had to. Um,
Yeah, it'd be like 11th or 12th man in a rotation.
yeah, I mean, this has got to be one of the oldest teams I've ever seen be put together as well.
He
Uh,
was drafted the same year as LeBron. If you remember.
yeah, you got Ariza, who's old. Ellington's no spring chicken. Dwight Howard, as we know, he was older when they got him last time, and LeBron's not very young.
Russ in his mid 30s.
Yeah, Russ is just past his prime. I would say. I'm not gonna. I think Russ is a decent pickup. I don't know that really fixed many things except maybe to get the ball out of LeBron's hand. I could see that. But I mean, there's a lot of Lakers fans with just a big mouth over the last couple of days that I just think are a little bit overreacting. I think they're going to be a good team, fun to watch, but do I think it's a lock? No, not really. I think they're going to be competitive, but I don't think it's a lock by any means.
Well, are they better than Brooklyn? No.
No.
Are they better than even Milwaukee right now?
They might have better depth. They might have better depth than Brooklyn. I'll give them that. I don't.
Yeah.
Brooklyn's depth is kind of weak, but their top three guys. I mean, uh, Davis and LeBron and Russ all specialize in one thing, but the biggest thing with the Nets is their guys specialize in. I think a lot more of today's games, what you need to specialize in, more specifically three ball. I think they can hit the three ball a lot better than this Lakers team can,
Yeah.
especially with
Well,
James Harden.
the big weakness of the Lakers last year was when LeBron was getting doubled and triple teamed. He'd kick it out to open guys, and they would just break everything,
Yeah.
right? And they needed spot up shooters. And as great as Russ is, he's not a fit for this team right now, right?
No,
You're right. It'll get the hand out of LeBron's hand a little bit, but he's not going to help with the kick out that they were looking for.
I mean realistically, and I don't mind Russell Westbrook, but has he really been in a fit on the last like 2 3 teams he's been on? I don't even know if he was a fit when they were using him as the number one guy in OKC because they never went deep in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I,
In my
I
humble opinion, wherever he goes, he needs to be the clear number one option.
yeah,
Right.
I
And
don't.
he just
But of
wins.
course, he worked with KD for a while there, so maybe he will fit into this spot pretty good. But then again, he could kick it out to KD for a three ball, which LeBron, his three ball more comes from where he dribbles a little bit, looks down at his right foot, and then shoots it. That's more where his three ball comes from. He's not a catch and shoot guy. Russell Westbrook doesn't really. The only thing I could see is maybe Russ and AD will have kind of like an Adams and Westbrook kind of connection. Maybe that could be because Russ can find you down low pretty easy. That could be a pretty big part of their game.
Yeah. That's no disrespect to Russ, by the way. I still think he's great. I love a guy that fights for triple doubles, even if some people say it is stat stuffing. He's great, but I think out of all the teams he could have gone to, a team with less of a fit. I
Yeah,
can't think of a team that's a worse fit than for him. I seriously cannot.
yeah. The Lakers, I think Russ was the wrong guy to go for. They had Buddy Hield right in their grasp. They could have kept Montrezl Harrell in that trade. All they would have had to do was maybe they would have had to throw in Harrell in the trade, but KCP and Kuzma, and they might have had Buddy Hield, which I think would have been a better fit. But I don't know. They both have their pros and cons. I don't think either Buddy Hield or Russell Westbrook would have been exactly a great fit, but I would have rather seen Buddy Hield. But I think Buddy was on a cheaper contract too, which would have gave them a little more flexible room in the cap. But they're somehow maxed, but are still able to make moves, which was somewhat confusing to me. This is actually the first time I've noticed that when you have a restricted free agent, you can sign them and go over the cap. I didn't realize that was a thing, which they did with Town Horton Tucker. But they made decent moves to fill out the roster. They did better than I thought they would.
Yeah, I still don't think it's enough though. I still think Brooklyn's the best. I don't even know if they get past Milwaukee even.
I don't think they're making it out of the West past Golden State, but that's another day. That's another thing too. But
I'd like to watch that. That's an honest. I don't know right now. We're gonna see how.
well, we got to see how Golden State fits. They just traded Eric Paschal today for a second rounder, so I don't know about that trade. They must not see a whole lot in Paschal. I think he's a decent guy. He could go on another team and maybe be pretty good, but I think he's I don't know. He's giving me Chris vibes, Maurice Chris, and that's not really somebody you need long term.
Well, I don't know. Did you hear the news about Olenek coming to Detroit?
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know how I feel about that because he better not start over Sadiq.
Or Beef Stew.
Yeah,
They're
I don't.
playing him for the 5 too.
Yeah, I don't. I wonder if Casey's saying he wants an older guy at the 5 because I would have thought Stewart could have just fit that role.
I don't think there's any way the way
Maybe
that,
maybe
the end of that season that doesn't start.
maybe Olenek is there to help Stewart with his 3 ball as a big man because
Well, yeah, and I think he's a
Olenek can
great
stretch.
6-man too.
Yeah, we've got like 2 or 3 6-man though. That's the thing. Because did we sign Corey Joseph back?
Let me check.
I think we signed
Yeah.
Corey Joseph and
2-year, $10 million.
one
That's a good
more.
deal.
We had one more guy that we signed.
Trey Lyles.
Trey Lyles. See, that's not that impressive. Trey Lyles has underperformed on 2 teams, so I don't know how I feel about that.
So, yeah, but I mean, we got him pretty cheap. Looks like he went for minimum. So that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, you can just put a body for minimum, and I'm happy right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would have. I don't know. I'm excited that they have faith to keep Hayes along with Cade. I was glad they didn't move Hayes at the draft. You got Hayes, Sadiq, Cade, Beef Stew, and we really just need. Well, we got Jeremy, so I think that's a pretty good starting 5, and I wouldn't mind to keep Jeremy past his contract here if it works.
Yeah, I'd like to see him come back for a little bit. I mean, Cade thinks playoffs this year, and I don't think he's crazy.
No,
Actually,
I
would
think
say.
playing game makes it that much easier to at least get in the mix than it used to be. And that's a good transition to another team that I think just put themselves in the top 8, who wasn't even in the playoffs last year, and Chicago signed
Oh, they
DeRozan, Lonzo, moved at the trade deadline last year to get Vucevic. They already had Levine, and they got Kobe White, who's had flashes, but he'll come off the bench for Lonzo. They also signed the bald eagle, Alex Caruso, away from the Lakers. Um, and who else did they got? Lowry
they
Markkinen could always pull it back out. He struggled, but at one point prior to the coach they had before, actually showed a lot of promise. I've got a card here of him, a rookie card. I'd like him to play better, honestly.
Daniel Tice is coming in.
Oh, I think Tice signed somewhere else though.
Oh, did he?
I think
Oh,
Tice
yep. I'm
is
sorry. He went to
Tice.
Houston.
Yeah, Tice
Tony
went.
Bradley. They're bringing Tony Bradley. My bad.
Okay, that's. I mean, I'd rather have Tice, but neither are that big of difference makers. But I think that core that they've got, as long as Vooch, I don't know how old Vooch is, but he's getting older. As long as he doesn't regress, they should be fine. I mean, the East is. That's why I got so mad when Detroit was just middle of the road or bottoming out in the East. It's like it's so easy to get any up to 6 at the is up to 6 is fair. It takes a little effort, but you can get to 6. It's usually pretty easy for a while there. It's getting harder now, uh, but there's some teams making moves that could really
Well,
move
what
on.
teams would you in the East would you put above Chicago right now? That's. I guess that's quite obviously Brooklyn,
Brooklyn,
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee,
Uh,
the Heat with Kyle Lowry.
yeah, the Heat
It
are
could
pretty
be. I don't know. They tank. It depends on how they gel because they had the bad stretches last year.
Philadelphia, but Simmons is gone.
The Celtics, depending on how the new coach is. Uh, I think Philly with Ben Simmons in the regular season is fine, but once they hit the playoffs, it's an issue.
Man, it's hard to believe there's a lot of teams better than this Bulls team. They're just so stacked.
The Knicks re-signed Derrick Rose, so they're pretty well. I know what they did today. Did you see what they did?
That's a team I'm going to be following this year. They signed. Hold
Did,
on.
did you see
Looking
it? Kemba today. They got Kemba in the buyout. Kemba Walker is a Knick for 1 year, $8 million.
Whoa. So wait, OKC, they are genius.
And they got picked. I'm pretty sure they at least no that was a buyout. That's the first thing
Yeah,
I've seen
48
OKC. Oh, they needed shooting last playoffs because Barrett didn't really shoot. Rose is not a shooter. Yeah, that's a good move. I could
Hey,
see
I
that.
like it. Yeah.
And Randall, if he can play like he did in the regular season, not like the playoffs, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm really liking the Knicks, and obviously I'm a big D Rose fan. I'm a fan of old D Rose.
I like the Knicks for everything except Dolan. I think he's been sleazy through the years. I don't care for Dolan, especially after kicking out Oakley and making Spike Lee have to take the what is it? Just the public entrance when he had used the back entrance for like 20 years. That kind of made me mad. But the organization itself has went through a lot of hardships, and it's nice to see them finally get back to the top again. Because I mean, really, the only high point that they've had since Patrick Ewing retired was the one playoff series win with Carmelo, and that's
Well,
pretty.
they're overpaying players, so I'm looking at the money they're spending. They just gave.
They have to though, because nobody wants to come. They're like
It's just got 11
they're
million a year for 3 years.
they're literally in the same boat as Detroit, except they're in a better market, so they have a little bit more pull.
Fournier got 4 years, $80 million. Oh man.
I mean, that's a lot of money, but the way the contracts are going now, it's not as crazy as it used to be.
I know, but I'm not. I actually like Fournier, but I'm not giving him that.
He was the best shooting guard left on the board, I think, when they signed him to that deal. They were kind of out left for dry. They had a lot of cap left that was just going to go unused. So, but the problem is you use it now and you're stuck in those deals, and then when you have the ability to pay to possibly bring somebody in, you're stuck.
So I think the Knicks are probably our 7 or 8 seed. And okay, so if we're saying that, are we saying Detroit is at New York Knicks level yet?
No,
Yeah, that
I got them rolling around 9.
man,
I
I'd
think
rather
we
be
could be
tank.
back. I think we could be back where we were.
No,
You could still
tanking is
get.
a no go because they don't have a draft pick this year. Never mind.
Well, no, it's not. I think we could be. I think we could definitely be in that playing game for sure. Maybe even 8. But it's
Yeah,
like a good 8 this time because we're like going upward. We're not just going to be stagnant at 8 like we have been.
right. Well,
Uh,
there's no reason to tank, so you're right. Knicks are better. So Atlanta's
Atlanta's in
good.
there too. They got a steal in the draft. They got Sharif Cooper at way down in the second round when he was a first round pick. They picked up. It was like Jackson out of Kentucky or Duke. No, it was out of Duke. Jalen Johnson, I think. Yeah, Jalen Johnson out of Duke. They picked him up pretty late. Reddish showed a flash there in the playoffs that he could be what everybody thinks he could be. I just re-signed John Collins. Trey is going to have to adjust to the new rules a little bit, but he can definitely shoot the ball. So if he can pull himself back into a little more fundamentals, he'll be fine. And Atlanta's going to be in there too.
They just re-signed John Collins too. 5 years, $25 million. Good for them. Good for both
120.
of them.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good price for him.
Yeah, I mean that's where that position they picked him up at good value. I saw who else signed. Trey got the extension as well. He got a big extension.
Hey, they
So
re-signed
did
Tony Snell.
Shea Gildas Alexander and OKC got a max, and Luca got a max. So that draft is getting their big contracts. That 2018 draft or 2019 draft. Those guys are finally getting their paydays. And every one of those guys deserves it. Those guys are gonna. I mean, we've seen Trey, we've seen Luca, but Shea, once that OKC team starts turning it up, he's gonna be
He
in
just
it
signed a big
too.
contract too.
Yeah,
Yep, he deserves every penny.
yeah.
So
So how many teams did we have listed there? We had at least 7 there. I think we just listed. So like
yeah,
Indiana,
well,
Indiana's
Washington,
kind of. Well, yeah.
Washington fell off the face of the earth. So.
No, they won't.
You don't think so?
They just signed Dinwiddie today with Bradley Beal, and then you have KCP, Harrell, Daniel
You're
Gafford,
right.
Kuzma could come off the bench or start. Um,
I,
I could be interested, could be bad, could be good. I don't know how I feel about that. We've had Washington go both ways over the years, so I don't know.
I like it because Bradley, in my humble opinion, Bradley Beal should have been the focus of this team, especially with his shooting ability.
Yeah,
And I think getting him the ball more on the 3-point line, which Dinwiddie will do, that makes them better. And
yeah,
Dinwiddie's okay defensively, and he's no slouch. Offensively, I like him.
yeah.
I miss
That's
him.
they're a playing game team for me though. I don't with the other ones. I got them ranked lower than most of the ones that I had before in the East. Another one to
Right.
go ahead.
I was gonna ask, is Washington right now better than Detroit?
Slightly, just because Beal's an all-star already. I mean, you've got a perennial all-star, led the league. Well, he would have led the league in points. Curry beat him out at the end because he had to sit because of the injury, but he was averaging like 30 a game. And but what I was gonna say, another team to watch that could be interesting next year, and they haven't really traded away any pieces yet. They might. Is the Pacers with new coach Rick Carlisle. Levert is starting to get into that team pretty good. I mean, it's going to be a new coach, new system, but Levert was looking pretty good at the end of the season. He's like Victor Oladipo, except he's been lucky enough, besides what was cancer. I mean, you can't play with that. But to have very little injuries so far with Karis Levert. And you got Sabonis, you have Turner, you
And
have
they just signed T.J.
Brogdon.
McConnell for $8 million a year. What a steal!
Yeah, they've got a decent squad. I think they could. They're going to push on people. They could honestly knock Detroit out. And we got one more that we're missing that's pretty big, honestly, and they were fluctuating seed last year. But the Charlotte Hornets are definitely in the mix.
And they're only
LaMelo, if Gordon Hayward can stay healthy, which has been in a headline for about, I don't know, 3-4 years now, whether Gordon Hayward is healthy to help his team. But they got Rozier. They did lose Graham to the Pelicans, which is I like for the Pelicans, but
See,
they
Malik
dealt.
Monk is gone now too.
Yeah, Monk wasn't very good on that team, but Graham did have some production when he wasn't hurt last year. They brought in a center. Who did they bring in? Oh,
That's
they
Alex
traded
Smith.
Plumlee. They traded for Plumlee from us, so they have a decent center that they could use.
Yep.
They drafted Kai
okay.
Jones.
Yeah.
Kai Jones was a good pickup. He will take over Plumlee's spot when he gets used to the NBA because he's a good prospect. And you also got Bouknight, which was a steal at 11 in the draft. Could have
Yeah.
possibly went higher than that, even maybe as 5. Maybe as early as 5 in the draft, went 11 to them, like a Clarkston, maybe even as high as Devin Booker type player.
They picked up Ish Smith as well.
Okay, didn't know that. That's better too. That's a replacement for Graham. That's fine. I was mad when Detroit got rid of Ish Smith.
Yeah, he was good.
I actually have one of his auto cards. It's actually
Yep,
one of
they're
my
giving- they're
couple
giving him
autos
$4
I've got.
Steal.
Let's steal. How many teams is? I think he's been on upwards of 11 or 12 teams in his career.
He just came off of Washington. I didn't realize he was already so old. He's already 33.
Really?
Yep.
He does not age. He does not look like. He looks young. I would have thought he was
I know.
like 27, 28.
Yep. So Biombo's coming off the book. So is Wanamaker.
Yeah, Biombo only looked good last year because LaMelo can basically hit you in a don't miss zone. And he got him some touches. He probably won't get signed. He should go play for EuroLeague or now NBA Africa's coming up. You got Chinese League. Just go play somewhere over there. He's not really a good fit for the NBA game per se. And he did get that big deal from Mike here to come when he had that really good playoff run. He got a deal with Charlotte for pretty good money. So if he invested that right, he should be set up. But I don't see him as a person in the NBA anymore.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so super way early championship winner right now. We just ended the last season, so can't hold it against you because there's still lots of moves we made. Who you got right now going to win it to the finals? Right now,
I could give you conference. You talking the 2 in the finals I got?
the best teams in each conference.
Nets Warriors.
Nets, Warriors.
I think the conference finals in the West is gonna be Lakers Warriors. If the Lakers, that's like an upset. I'm like giving the Lakers the benefit of the doubt on there. Do I think that they can do it? Maybe. Am I more likely to say that they won't get to that point? Yes, but
Let me
that's
see
it.
what Milwaukee's done here in the free agency.
They let PJ Tucker go. They
that's
did
bad.
re-sign Portis, but I think Tucker's gonna hurt them.
Yeah, he went to Miami. That's another reason they're going to be good.
They lost Ben Forbes back to San Antonio. They didn't really sign a backup point guard. I would kind of like to see them see Quarks, Reggie Jackson to take a lesser deal to come play for them. They could use a really good backup point.
Okay.
I didn't like Reggie in Detroit, but he's had good moments since he left, and he's good in that a backup role where he knows he's not the top guy, but he can still give you points. It's probably in Detroit. He had a big head, which led to some issues. Although him and Drummond did have some good chemistry.
A little bit.
Yeah, it was interesting for a little bit there,
You
but
think
not.
about that team was 2 years ago. We're already in the better position.
Yeah. That team would have been better if Stan Van Etten ruined it when we had Reggie, KCP, Marcus Morris, Tobias Harris, and Drummond was probably the best team we'd put together for a while, but we had Stan
Man.
Van, so that ruined
How
that.
they could just let Tobias Harris go like that, it broke my heart.
Well, it's for Blake. That's,
Yeah.
again, that's
Yeah,
a
great
whole
move, right?
rabbit hole. That is a whole rabbit hole, which,
I think I agree with you with Nets. Actually, okay, Nets.
I mean, there's always somebody who come out
I
of
gotta
left
go
field.
Lakers. I think it's gonna be Lakers. I hate to say that.
It could be.
I don't want it to be though.
Depends if Father Time takes his toll.
Well, LeBron looked slow last year. He really did.
I'm not even with LeBron either. I'm talking about I don't think Davis has a full career ahead of him. I don't see him making it like most people do. I think he's going to be done off an injury one of these times.
He's been hurt almost.
I think
he had been hurt every year except for the bubble.
I hate to say it, but he's giving me like somewhat Brandon Roy vibes with the way he gets hurt a lot. He's not a Derrick Rose because I don't know. It seems like every time he gets injured, his lateral gets worse. If you notice, it doesn't seem like he's as agile every time he gets hurt. But I hate the Laker bash. I always do it, but that team is heavily relying on everybody staying healthy. I guess that goes for the Nets too, because we saw that this year. That could go for anybody. The
Lakers and what Detroit wanted to be just sign all the old stars and hope they still have enough.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised. If a guy like Stan Van had still been a GM, we would have had Andre Drummond back, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Do you want Drummond back though?
No, I don't. I'm just saying that would have been a move they would have made.
Oh yeah, they probably would have given him $25 million minimum.
Yeah, at least 10.
Insane. Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, the draft. Let's move on to the draft. That was it went pretty much how I thought it would go, with a few hitches. I mean, I was pretty good up to 3. I mean, that was pretty well lock. And then after that, some of them.
I disagreed, but you're right.
Yeah, you had Mobley going to Houston, right?
I flipped him over. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have went either way, but the one that really surprised me, and the video was up on the channel, is when Barnes went to Toronto, which really threw Raptor, who has done the podcast before. Anybody who listens knows Raptor. He was just getting. I mean, it was just the sports media, just Suggs, just had it in his head, and then when it wasn't Suggs, he just his brain kind of just lost it. He just could not handle that it was not Suggs. And I was surprised too. I guess maybe the reason, well, I know they like Barnes for the defense, but Suggs is right at the size you want a point guard, but he is kind of on the smaller side of it. But I mean, it's all a gamble in the draft anyway. Golden State actually got Kuminga. I was happy about that. Giddey, I messed up last week. I thought Giddey was a big, but he's a point guard. I know you were kind of, I think, confused as I was listening back that I was saying he was like posting up. I thought he was a big. I didn't think he was a guy. OKC took him.
Yep. Yeah, I think Kuminga was an excellent pickup for Golden State. I think that's best case scenario for them. You know, after being outside the top 5. Really for them.
And they got Moses Moody all the way at 14, which he was a top 10 in most mocks.
They killed it again. I'm tired of Golden State always making the right moves.
They got a good GM. I think the worst move they made, and it was just because he won Finals MVP, was probably when they gave Iguodala his large contract. But that was out of respect, and he got the money eventually. There was talks, and there still is talks.
You think Iggy was a bad move in Golden State?
I think their contract size was a bad move, but
okay, yes.
It's like $16 million a year for his age. Well, it's not very good. Although he was a key piece to the team, though. His value was probably more mentality than anything, so maybe it was the correct value. It just didn't work out when they needed more money.
Well, everywhere he goes, the team wins.
Yeah.
Before he got too old. But.
Yeah, he's been a good player, and he's got his rings now, so he's got a possible Hall of Fame bid because of the Finals MVP, so might have to wait a while, but he can make it in there. But yeah, Golden State.
How happy are you? Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, what were you going to say? I'm kind of rambling.
I said, how happy are you right now if you're a Magic fan with that draft? A lot of people are hating on the Wagner pickup. I'm saying no.
Well, they just signed his brother today, Mo. They brought Mo, too. Mo and Franz are on the same team.
Yeah.
Could be some chemistry there, a little bit. We'll see how it is. I mean, it could be a fun team to watch. Not saying I'm going to be the one watching it, but because I've got at least, I can list at least a couple teams here. I'm going to be watching Chicago, maybe watching New Orleans, maybe the Knicks now.
Oh, you watching Knicks?
Warriors, definitely. I want to see how Chauncey coaches Portland. I would watch the Pistons, but thanks to Fox Sports Detroit, I got to pay $80 a month if I want to do so, even though I pay $275 for League Pass. And you can't turn a VPN on either, which I've tried, which isn't exactly legitimate, but I feel like if I pay almost $300, I should be able to watch the Pistons. I mean, what's the point of what is the point of League Pass if I can't watch my favorite team? I mean, I like watching the other guys, but it does get on my nerves quite often that I can't watch Detroit. I wanted to see them so bad last year. I won't get into it, but there's ways I've seen that I can watch them without using my League Pass. And I'm not going to say that on the podcast, but there's ways I can watch it, and I probably will try some of those.
Well, you have to let me know because I can't. They can't get on Sling TV either. It's local cable or nothing.
Yeah, $80 a month is a joke, especially if your team sucks and you're paying $80 a month to watch them suck. I mean, come on.
When all your teams suck.
Yeah, can you imagine paying $80 a month like 5 years ago for Detroit sports? I mean, you would have the Lions, which you can watch. Actually, they don't own the Lions, do they?
No,
Because that's Fox. So you'd be watching
Fox Sports Detroit is hockey, baseball, basketball.
You've been watching bad Tigers, bad Red Wings, and bad Pistons for $80 a month. That's a joke.
Gosh, we're such an
Actually, it's Bally Sports Detroit. I'm sorry, they changed their name to some stupid name like Bally Sports Detroit. Bally Sports. Yeah, all of Fox is Bally now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know. It's a. I don't know. I just really wish I could watch the Pistons without having to break an arm and a leg to do so. But I guess we're gonna have to do that.
All right, Pistons excluded, even though they had the no-brainer and they killed it in the second round. Which team do you think did the best in the draft?
I can't say one team did the best in the draft, but I can say some steals. I think honestly probably Charlotte if I had to pick one because of Boak Knight and Kai Jones were really two great pickups at their spots. Because I had Kai Jones ahead of Boak Knight in my mock. And
That's right, they got that pick from the Knicks, didn't they?
Yeah, the Knicks traded every one of their first rounders. The Knicks really make me wonder sometimes with some of their moves. I don't know what to say. The Knicks are gonna be the Knicks. They haven't been good since Patrick Ewing's been gone, and that's my entire lifetime. So.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give the nod to Orlando.
Who did they get other than
they got fortunate with the Jalen Suggs.
Suggs.
Everyone's hating on the Wagner pick, but Wagner. But I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. I think Golden State got exactly what they wanted. They may not have won, but they got exactly what they wanted and needed.
They squeezed out every little inch of juice of that draft they could.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think I don't know if a lot of teams won, but they got pieces that they needed. I don't see too many people that should be unhappy.
I'm curious to see now what Cleveland's going to do with Jared Allen, whom I love.
They re-signed him 5 year, $100 million.
Oh, they gave him $100 million?
Yeah. They think he can be like Duncan and Robinson with Mobley.
Except Jared Allen doesn't have that much. He's like.
Well, he's David Robinson. He's defensive.
Yeah.
I mean, Robinson had more of an offensive game, but Allen can do that at points. He's just not been able to show it on the Nets. And Mobley is that mid-range and now three-point shooting big that is the modern equivalent to somewhat like a Tim Duncan. I won't go as far to call him exactly Tim Duncan, but he's pretty good.
Wow, they actually have a pretty well-rounded out roster now. They just need to somehow get Kevin Love out of there.
They get Kevin Love, decide whether you're going to keep the Sexton-Garland duo or trade Sexton off and go with Garland. That's something they've been talking about. I don't know. I like Sexton, but he is a ball-dominant guard. It is sometimes a little bit much with him. But But Cleveland's got to figure that out. They're in no way competitive unless they come out of left field somehow. And I think we're discounting Toronto, too. We didn't really mention Toronto and being competitive next year. They really just had a down year, and they had basically the same roster they had the year before, even though. And Kawhi left that year. They haven't really played well since everything shut down, really. So if Toronto can get back to where they were with these few extra pieces, they could be good. Again.
Yeah, well, Kyle Lowry's gone.
But that's a role that Van Fleet can fill.
Yeah.
The two's filled by probably Scotty Barnes now. Or no, the two's filled by Gary Trent Jr. You got Scotty Barnes at the 3. Or do you have Scotty Barnes out the bench and OG Anunoby at the 3? It depends on if they play small ball, because I don't know what kind of big man they've got there right now. They got to figure that out. But they have the ability to.
Raptors this year, unfortunately. I hate to say this to your friend Raptor, but I don't see them playing very well this year.
Yeah, he would always say, at least we got the ring with Kawhi, but it does hurt to watch your team lose. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that are. That's why I think an expansion draft could really happen, because there's a lot of teams that got a lot of good pieces, and they all could figure it out. I mean, a lot of them could. There's a lot of them that even Minnesota's got the pieces to do it. They just never do.
Yeah, it's Siakam and Van Vliet, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a rough year for Raptor fans. I hate to say it.
It could be. But yeah,
Bummer deal for them.
I don't know.
Well, Logan, did you watch any Olympic basketball yesterday?
The problem is I don't watch it because I get the little alert on my phone about what the score was, because it's pre-recorded, because most of the games happen at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I want to watch? No, I look at the highlights to see who played well. I know KD went off in the last game.
Yep.
Did they play last night?
They played yesterday. They played Spain.
Okay, I saw that one. Yeah, they beat Spain, even though Rubio went off.
Dude, Rubio has been, and I don't know where it comes from, because he can't do that in the NBA.
He needs to go to the EuroLeague. He needs to just head off to the EuroLeague, because he plays a lot better with Euro rules.
Yeah. So it's pretty insane how Rubio's been playing, but now he's done. You know, they're not done. They're out of medal contention now.
Well, who's done is Pau Gasol. I think that's his last hurrah. I think that was Pau Gasol's last shot at anything. I think he's done NBA everything.
Yeah, he didn't look very good. In the Olympic game. But I mean, he's old. I mean, this is 4 Olympics games.
I mean, you look at the way Dirk was at the end of his career. I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
I mean, for a while
there,
really, Pau's last big season was with Chicago. He was carrying them for a little bit there.
Yep. And obviously he got a ring with Kobe, didn't he?
Yeah, he's 2 rings with Kobe. He was there when they beat the Celtics.
Yeah, that's right. Pau's had a good career.
Yeah, Pau, he had his moments. He was big for Memphis for a while there, before he went to the Lakers.
I'm fully convinced now that we will win the gold medal again. Drew Holiday has completely turned this team. I love that man. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite players.
I like Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
He's had some inconsistencies that he's had to figure out, but he seems to figure it out eventually. The only thing standing in the way of the gold medal, I think, is Luka Doncic. I think Luka could really give us a lot of trouble there at the end.
Him alone. That's the crazy thing.
I think he could. If anybody's going to surprise us, I think it's Luka.
Yep, he's the only obstacle left, and that's crazy. We have an entire team, of all NBA players, and rightfully so. We're worried about Luka Doncic. So.
But of course, don't we play France next?
They'll beat him. If they play him again, they'll beat him now.
Yeah.
And I think they'll do it by at least 15. They're playing so much better now.
Yeah. That's the thing with the U.S. is we just got to figure it out, and we can pretty well knock anybody down.
Well, just because of that too.
Well, just the chemistry and just plethora of talent that we have at our disposal.
One thing that Popovich has stopped doing too is he's stopped taking both Lillard and KD off the floor at the same time.
Okay.
And when KD comes off, Lillard, it's Dame time. He just takes over.
So he's playing the LeBron Davis kind of thing.
Yeah, you can't take them both off the floor.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're playing well, and I'm confident again that we're gonna win the gold medal, as we should.
Yeah. It's nice to see somebody like Croatia or wherever Luke is at. Just see that kind of a team get into it though, because they haven't really done much. They had no medals before the other day. They have like 3 now, and those countries just don't get a whole lot. They should get at least a bronze though. I think Luke is at least getting a bronze. But yeah, to be honest, I haven't watched much of the Olympics. I don't know anybody anymore. I don't know Bolt. Usain Bolt's gone. Phelps is gone.
Yep.
Just not that interesting to me on some parts of it.
Yeah, I've had to relearn. Like, my wife has been watching gymnastics, and so I can tell you all the moves they do. Like wolf turns and things like that. Suni, and obviously Simone Biles, and Jade Carey. So I've had to relearn them. But it's been fun.
I barely see out of those 3 names. I barely know Suni. I know Biles, and I have no idea who the other girl you said was. The other woman.
Michaela Skinner, who's like 27 years old, which is ancient for gymnastics.
Yeah. Oh, the one I remember was the Gabby Douglas, Michaela Maroney, Simone Biles. That team. That's the only time I've really paid attention to gymnastics, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Kayla.
That's just because
I love that commercial she does now. Have you seen it?
Yeah, the Subway one. Or no, it's one where they're throwing a frisbee up on the roof and then keeping it.
She does her little face.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever Simone or Michaela do, they've already got the gold, so they're pretty well already shown themselves. But it is nice to come back and do it again. I remember. Another one that's gone now that I used to watch was Carrie Walsh and Misty May Trainer. When they were playing beach volleyball, they were dominant. They were good for about 3-4 Olympics there. They won gold, and I think Misty May Trainer retired in London. I think after a Rio. Was it Rio or London? After they won their last gold, she retired. But that was another dominant group there. I think who else? I said Bolt. I think my first Olympics I remember was 08 Beijing. 08 Beijing was the first one I really remember, and that's probably why I liked Phelps so much, because he went off in that Olympics.
That was an all-time great. That's one we'll all remember forever. Even if you watch previous ones, that was great.
For me, I think it's just it seems like there was a lot of hype in that 08 Olympics, and it's just went downhill since then. I feel like that was just like an all-time high for the Olympics was 08. I don't know why.
Well, I gotta admit too, watching it with an empty stadium, it's not fun. It's awful. No reaction.
You gotta have a crowd. Can you imagine if they didn't have the Suns crowd this year for the finals? As rowdy as they were, that wouldn't have been anywhere near the same. I know the Suns still lost, even though they were there, but that was entertaining to watch them just. They're the kid that talked trash and then didn't back it up because they had all the trash talk, but they just could not finish that series.
I think they lost 3 home games that entire playoff run.
Yeah,
they were dominant.
And two of them were there at the end, right?
Yeah, they lost before that one the entire time. That crowd took over the playoff run.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Milwaukee wasn't bad either, though. I'll give them that. There was 2 pretty rowdy crowds, but everybody's been stuck inside for a long time, so I think they're ready to get a little rowdy.
Well, that's why when they went down 0-2, I said, nah, they're fine.
I bet
whoever wins the first away game is going to win it.
I bet Detroit, the fans are going to be fired up. I bet the Little Caesars are going to be packed for a few of them games if everything goes the way it is.
And if they go 500, even
I don't know. I feel like Cade's got somewhat of a Zion pull. I went there and watched Zion play, even though he didn't play, and there was still the stadium was still, the arena was still pretty packed just to see Zion even just practice, because that's gonna haunt me forever almost, because that was the game right before he played. I went to. He was warming up. I thought, oh, maybe this is the night he'll start his first game, and then he waited till the Spurs game, the next one. That's gonna haunt me, but I can't really do much about that. I did get to see him though, but it kind of sucks. But I did get to see him warm up, and that was a good game. Lonzo had a triple double that game, and they won an OT. Rose almost hit a game winner, but that was a really good game anyway.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Gonna be a fun season. We're definitely gonna go to a game.
Yeah,
I'm
we're gonna.
certainly gonna go when Denver comes to town.
Well, yeah, we had talked about going to the Gold game over there in Grand Rapids now. Watch the G League. Might even get to see Bol.
Ball.
Yeah.
You jumped off that train really quick, by the way.
I'm not off the train. I guess I've come back to reality. I'm just kind of wait. It's like Sekou. I'm trying to wait. It's like that meme where it's like, do something. And the guy's poking the guy with the stick. It's like, do something. Do something. It's like, what's happening? It's like,
that's how we felt about Sekou for the last couple of years.
It's hard to watch. Well, Sekou, they both have flashes, but honestly, Sekou's had more flashes than Bol. But yeah, we're kind of rambling here. I think this, unless you've got anything, I'm gonna cut it.
No, I think that's it. I love the moves made by the Pistons, the Knicks. The Bulls are gonna be fun to watch. That'll be interesting to see how they gel. Miami.
Lakers will be fun to watch.
In the East. That'll be good.
Lakers will be fun to watch.
I'm not watching the Lakers.
Well, I'm not watching them either, but just for the Lakers fans, it will be fun for you to watch until about the second round when they have an exit to somebody like the Nuggets with Jamal Murray and Kevin Porter Jr. But that's a way too early prediction, but it would be funny if it came true. But yeah, that's... Well, if you didn't like that what I just said, feel free to go in the comments section. And if you're not, please like, comment, and subscribe. I think I just double negative with the comment. I said it again, but everybody just enjoy your week, and we'll be back here next week. Thank you.